TV show from Amazon is finally gearing up for production, but which characters from the iconic video games must appear in the new series? Here are our picks for the 5 Mass Effect characters that need to be part of the TV show. But before we dive into that, just a reminder to help us please hit that 1,000 subscriber mark by liking and subscribing to the video. It really helps the channel and we really appreciate it. But now, on to our picks, what you're really here for. First, there are some honorable mentions to throw out that won't make the full list, mainly because their stories are tied too closely to Commander Shepard, and we aren't sure that Amazon will have him be the focus of the series. And that includes Miranda, Joker, and Tali, who are all so heavily tied to Shepard that while we'd love to see them show up, we don't think it's as necessary as the 5 we have picked out. Our first pick is kind of a no-brainer, Garrus, everyone's favorite Turian C-Sec agent, and his investigations routinely see him hopping all over the galaxy, so it would make a lot of sense for him to run into any character the new Mass Effect series may have as their main focus. Garrus is a huge fan favorite, and there is no better way to introduce the Turian race rather than having their most charismatic member and someone who illustrates that even the so-called good guys of Mass Effect are not afraid to shoot first and ask questions later. Garrus is equally as quick with a joke as he is to whip out a high-powered sniper rifle and blow his target away, and it would be hard to imagine a Mass Effect show without him.
Let's see what they're up to.
Next up, Admiral Anderson. Shepard's mentor in the Mass Effect series is also effectively the leader of the human forces on the Citadel, so even if Shepard isn't the main character, we assume they will most likely be human, meaning they will have plenty of reasons to run into Admiral when they hit the Citadel. Voiced by Keith David, who we think could still do an amazing job in the live-action version, Anderson is the perfect character to illustrate how humanity has hit pretty rough in the Mass Effect universe, often being second-guessed or ignored by the races on the Citadel's council, which is a huge part of the story of Mass Effect, the rise of humanity, and no one would illustrate that better than Admiral Anderson.
I'll be here if you need anything.
Our third pick is another former companion of Commander Shepard, Urdnot Wrex. This Krogan mercenary turned leader of his people makes a lot of sense to pop back into the Amazon series, especially since any real negotiations with the Krogans would naturally lead back to him. One of the last Krogan battle masters, a warrior who is an expert at biotics and weapons, Wrex is also always on the lookout for some way to overcome the genophage, the genetic alteration infecting Krogans to keep their population growth down. So there are several ways in which the hero of this new show could wind up in a tense altercation with one of the galaxy's most dangerous warriors and possibly even make him an ally.
But words aren't going to cut it this time, Shepard.
The next pick is perhaps the least surprising, the queen of all fan favorites, Liara, a companion and romantic interest for Commander Shepard. Unlike several other of the Mass Effect characters, Liara had a very big life outside of her time with Shepard on the Normandy. She took over the role of the Shadow Broker, the galaxy's premier information dealer, and in a universe as full of intrigue and mystery as Mass Effect, it's almost hard to think of a way the hero of a new Mass Effect show couldn't run into the incredibly popular Asari. Liara is one of the most beloved characters in the entire series, and as an incredibly powerful and influential woman in her own right, and an amazing example of the fan favorite Asari race in general, she almost certainly has to have a place in the new Amazon series to keep Mass Effect fans from rioting.
Thank you for everything.
And finally, we possibly go a little off the rails here with our final pick, the Illusive Man. The leader of Cerberus is one of the most fascinating characters in all Mass Effect, and the fact that he was modeled after Martin Sheen, who not only voiced the character but is still around to be cast in the show, is just icing on the cake. Cerberus is a pro-humanity group who is taking radical steps to ensure the safety and dominance of humanity, and the Illusive Man is part mentor, part villain, and part unwilling puppet in a greater scheme, making him just absolutely fascinating. Not only would he bring Cerberus and their mysterious intentions into the new series, but hey, maybe we get to see more of him in his amazing base orbiting some distant sun like we did in the video games. Either way, the Illusive Man is one of the most compelling characters in all of Mass Effect, so we really want him and his Cerberus organization to be a major part of the Mass Effect series.
I brought you back. It's up to you to do the rest.
So those were our 5 picks for the must-include characters on the new Mass Effect Amazon series, but who would you choose to join the cast? Let us know in the comments, and don't forget to hit those like and subscribe buttons to help Above the Table grow.